Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about the John Carpenter forgotten classic, Escape from LA. So let's talk. So, on August 9th, 1996, Escape from LA was released, and it is directed by John Carpenter, written by John Carpenter along with Deborah Hill and Kurt Russell, and is the sequel to Escape from New York, which came out, I believe, in 1981. So, this is a return of the original Snake Plissken, and this time, he's not escaping New York, he's escaping LA. And this is actually the first time I've ever seen this movie. I guess it's no better time to see it on 4K. And it's also I don't know why, I just always heard that this movie wasn't as good as the original, so I just never went and watched it, which is strange, because I really love John Carpenter. I mean, Halloween, The Thing, and The Mouth of Madness. This guy's got classics just everywhere, and I love them all. Like, they live. I can just go on and on about how much I love John Carpenter. And for me to never have seen Escape LA was a real hole in my cinema viewing. So it's really nice that I finally, in 2022, finally got around to it. I'm really happy I did, because I really enjoyed watching this movie, actually. It's going to be a full spoiler review. So if you've actually seen Escape from New York, Escape from LA is a very, very similar movie. Honestly, the opening is identical. Basically, Snake Plissken, he's been arrested, and when you get arrested in the universe that John Carpenter and Deborah Hill and Nick Castle from Halloween, who plays Michael Myers in the original, what they came up with is that in the original, Manhattan is now a prison. The whole island of Manhattan is a prison. You go in, you never come out. If you try to escape, they'll kill you. They got the whole island surrounded. You're free to do whatever you want in there. And this time, they take you to LA and they do the exact same thing, except an earthquake has caused LA to basically be separated from the rest of California, but they got guards still lining the entire outside. And Snake Plissken, yet again, has been arrested. He's sent in there, this time not to save the president, but kill the president's daughter and take the black box away. This black box that has inside of it a direct EMP, and this EMP would destroy all the technology. If you know what an EMP is, all electricity would be just wiped out. So whoever has this power basically controls the universe. And Snake Plissken, he's sent in and he's got to go do Snake Plissken things. And it's just like the original, same story. You know, he's got to find someone, and then he's got all these shady characters because it's technically a prison. But this time, instead of them all just being terrible people, they have reasons. Like, they basically said that if you were an atheist, you were sent there. So they kind of modernized it and gave it a nice little twist that, just so you don't copy and paste from the original. So this movie has a big cult following. I looked it up before I watched it, and a lot of people love this movie. They praise it. I don't know if they would rank it above the original, but for me, this was still really good, but nowhere near the classic that is the John Carpenter original. For me, Escape from New York is actually one of the John Carpenter top 3 movies that he's ever made, up there with Halloween and The Thing. Escape from New York, I would say, is probably more on the back 9 of John Carpenter. It's still really fun. It's still really good. It's nice to see Kurt Russell back. He shows up in the same clothes from the original. He's still got the eye patch, but like a superhero, they change his clothes and they send him on his way, and it's got to be bigger and badder. And it's probably a little bit funner, I would say. It's definitely more of like, the original is still kind of a B movie, but this is also way more over the top B movie. Right down to the terrible CGI, which might be on purpose. Like, I'm not 100% sure, because it is so noticeably bad. Right in the opening with the submarine, like a shark takes a bite at it. Or, obviously the most famous bad CGI is the surf scene. But, that's part of the movie's charm, so I don't want to, say, that's a bad thing, because I assume somebody had eyes on this and went, that looks really awful. And John Carpenter, I would think, went, yeah, but that's on purpose. And then it works. Because, just with the whole tone of this movie, that is what works for it, is how everyone's playing. I mean, Kurt Russell never goes above Plissken, Snake, Plissken, or Snake, call me Snake. So it's just like, he's always talking like that in the entire movie. He's always got that tone that, almost like a Clint Eastwood impression going the entire time. It's clear that everybody was on board for what they were doing, and I think it worked perfectly for what this movie is. Now, it's kind of like, honestly, it's funny his name sticks. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like Snakes on a Plane, that kind of movie where everyone's in on the gag, and I love movies like that, so it works for me. I think this movie is very, very fun. You know, for the first time seeing it, I'm definitely going to go back to it. I'll watch it again probably in a few years. You know, I'll throw it in the rotation. And for a lot of supporting actors actually in this movie, you get Pam Grier, you get Steve Buscemi in a great role. It's always fun to see him motor mouthing it the whole time. And Stacy Keach, I first saw him in the TV show Prison Break as the warden, and it was really cool to see him pop up in here with an awesome ponytail. He like basically replaces the Tom Atkins character from the first one, which is kind of what this whole movie does. They take a character from the original and they kind of replace him. You know, it's just that same thing. It's a, you know, pick and match from the original. You know, you get instead of Isaac Hayes, you get a different guy, but he's still got the disco ball in his car. It's just a whole thing, and it works. It's what they went for. But, you know, don't go in here for a cinematic masterpiece. Go in here if you want to have fun. You know, I watched this on a Tuesday morning, and I had a blast. It was worth it. So if I was going to rate this movie out of 10, I would probably give the film itself, you know, a 6.5 out of 10. You know, it's not the greatest John Carpenter movie, but it is still a ton of fun, and I can definitely recommend the film. Surprisingly, this actually has a 4K release that was just released, and it's very well done, surprisingly. It's a little bit of a bare bones package, I'm not going to lie. It's just really an upgrade to the film and the sound, and not really to the extras. There's no Blu-ray in here, it's just a 4K with a digital code, and that's really it. You know, it's got a nice slipcover, it's got the poster artwork with Kurt Russell on there. It's really awesome. I'm sure people have realized by now who watch this channel that Snake Plissken is definitely the inspiration for Solid Snake, right down to the eye patch. So it's really good. The visuals were really, really nice. They popped on this. The blacks were deep. The HDR is Dolby Vision. There is no Dolby Atmos track on it. It's just Dolby Surround, you know, 5.1, but it's still really good. I'm not gonna lie, the front speakers were getting some work, but the rears I couldn't really hear. I didn't think it had the best audio done to it. Still really well for my front-facing speakers, but the rears definitely could have had some more work done to it, in my opinion. It could just be my setup, so, you know, take that with a grain of salt, but usually I get more sound out of it from something like this, and I was a little disappointed. I would probably say it was still good, don't get me wrong, but this movie really shines in the visuals department. I thought the visuals were top-notch, blacks were deep, colors popped. You know, this movie's a very dark movie. The whole movie takes place at night, just like the original. You know, it's got only 10 hours. So, it's dark, LA is dark, but again, part of the charm. A lot of practical sets, even though with the bad CGI. So it all looked really good. I definitely would say it's a very good packaging, good 4K. If you haven't seen Escape from LA, you're not going to get it better than on this, I'm sure of that. So, if you can, it's actually running, I believe, right now on sale in Best Buy for $19.99 for a 4K. That's pretty cheap, and I assume it's just because it's a bare bones package. You're buying this for the movie, and that's really it. So I can't recommend it enough. If you haven't, if you can swing 20 bucks, definitely run out there and grab this. It's pretty good. I would probably give this whole Escape from LA 4K Blu-ray, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Lacking the extras, I can't go higher than that, but visuals are really good, audio's alright. So, hey, thanks for sticking around with me for this film in 4K review, and as always, if you want to see more of these, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and tell all your friends.